Hello, everyone. A big warm welcome to TNT Thursday. So we have a brand new limited series where we have tips and training Thursdays. Our first guest, you can see her wonderful face here, a familiar face, Danielle Matthews. Welcome to TNT Thursday, our very first one. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Corey, for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Let's introduce everyone who's not familiar and doesn't know you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Danielle. How long have you been with ASEA? Where do you come from, etc.?
Sure. I was exposed to ASEA back in 2014, actually because of a health issue I was having. Someone brought it to my mom. I started using the product, had great results, absolutely loved it, and I just thought, man, people deserve to know this is an option out there. So in around the end of 2015, I actually started sharing it with people. I had moved to Florida, and so I was in Melbourne, Florida for, 4.5 years, sharing and connecting with people across the state. Most of my team is in Florida. I was able to reach the platinum level in ASEA there, and then a few months ago, I just decided that I was ready to get back to the mountains. I absolutely love the mountains. While the beach is wonderful, the mountains really just speak to my soul. And I came back. I got to Denver right in time for, the quarantine. So I've been hanging out in my apartment, getting excited about what I can do once all of this is lifted.
Awesome. Well, again, Danielle, Platinum Executive, you have had a very strong impact with the field, and so we're so excited to have you today. As things have changed and we've made a shift to a virtual world, a couple of our events no longer happened. Envision, for example, and you were one of our Envision speakers. So we actually asked you to record your Envision presentation, and that is available now. Everyone can go and watch it, and we highly recommend it. It has some incredible content. We posted it to YouTube. It's in the VO in your library. It'll also be posted under Basecamp in the peak performance trainings. And then finally, it's on imasea.com under webinars. If you click on that tab, you can select In Touch and you'll be able to find it there. So a lot of places where you can find it. Again, we highly recommend spending the time to watch that because it's very powerful, some fun material. And we actually want to cover some of that material today, give a sneak peek, get people excited about that video. So first and foremost, when we asked you to present at Envision, we actually gave you the chance to come up with your own topic. And you selected and chose the 4 personality types. So tell us a little bit, why did you select that? Of anything you could have talked about, why the 4 personality types?
Well, I think it's really it's the bottom line. I love, part of our ethos is the book, The 3 Questions. And Tyler talks about the importance of needing to be present and do what's best for the person in front of you, right? That's one of our core pieces of our ethos. And in order to serve the person in front of you and to show up in the way that that person needs, you need to understand that they're not exactly like you. And a lot of times we process things logically and emotionally in a certain way, and we're used to it. And you tend to kind of accumulate friends around you that process in the same way. So you might think that's normal. But the reality is there's actually 4 main different personality types, and they process things differently. Some, there's no emotion. It's all logic, right? Some, they just want the fun. Don't give them the details, that's going to bore them. And so you need to understand that when someone shows up in front of you, you need to not talk through the lens that you're used to, but you need to talk through the lens and in the way that they need. You kind of need to get to the bottom line of what they want to hear about so you can better serve them. And I just thought, if our ASEA community can understand that, in my evolution with network marketing over the last 5 years, right, that I've been involved with the company, personality type trainings have somehow just come into my world. I've been exposed to, I think, 5 or 6 different types of personality trainings. And so what I decided to do, Corey, was basically take the biggest pieces that I thought simplified it, made it very relatable, made it very easy to understand. And I pulled from each of these different trainings that I've been to and just kind of pulled it together so we as an ASEA community could easily go, okay, so these are the 4 main types of personalities. Great. Now, how do I easily identify someone's personality? Okay, great. Now that I've identified it, now how do I speak to them? How do I talk ASEA to them? What resources in ASEA do I use for this certain personality type so that we can better serve the people that we're wanting to share with?
Awesome. I love that. You answered a question I was going to ask. So instead of asking that question, I'm going to throw a curveball. I love that you said it lines up so well with our ethos. And truly it does. You're trying to help others. You really need to identify what resonates with them rather than just forcing a new product on them. Really trying to understand their personality can help you apply what we have to offer to them. But throw business building out right now. How has understanding the 4 personality types helped you with just relationships in general, whether it's with your friends, family members, maybe even yourself? How have the 4 personality types helped you with relationships in your life?
Frustration has gone out the window because I realized, like, oh, this person is just processing in a different way. My sister, my dad, they are completely different personality types than my mom and myself. And so growing up in our household, I mean, literally there are times where it's like, we just couldn't understand each other. It's like, would you calm down? Or like, you know, why are you having to take 5 days to make a decision about what color to paint the wall? Like, just pick your color and go. So there's like all these different pieces and dynamics that come into like everything from choosing where to go to a restaurant, right, for dinner. Like some personality types like will go through that process of thinking through that completely differently than others. And so for friends and family, it can create like obnoxious situations where you're getting frustrated because you don't understand why the person can't just choose. Or is kind of deferring to everybody else. Well, what do you want? What would make you happy? But that's just the way they are. And so it's also actually helped me to go, okay, this is just how I process. Like, this is just what I need. So this is going to help me know, you know, what's going to make things easier for me, and to give myself the grace and not pressure myself when I need to make a decision. I'm not a person that can make a decision in 10 to 20 minutes. I have to sit with it. And if you push me, I will walk away, even if I want what you're pushing me on. If you push me on a decision, I get uncomfortable and I will walk. And that's just because that's my personality. And so it's better for me to know that about myself. And the really neat thing with this, when I started applying it then to ASEA with my team. So understanding, look, my team needs something different. Some of these people, they want to know that convention is important because they're going to learn some really important details in order to do their business well. And they're going to learn the systems that successful people are using. Other people, if that's what I told them would happen at convention, they would say, great, I'd rather go to the beach. But if I said, oh my God, it's so much fun, we have a big party, you get to meet from people from all over the world, like that is a completely different conversation, and that's going to speak to them in the way that they need to be spoken to. And so I have with my team kind of played around, and we did a potluck before I left Florida, and we kind of went around and said, okay, which personality type are you? And we moved into different sections of the room, and it was really neat to see, and it was good for me as the leader to know moving forward, this is what I need to do in order to interact and help them get the most out of, you know, their ASEA business.
I love that. That's so cool. You just gave us like 7 different ways to apply the personality types. So go watch Danielle's video. You are going to walk away with something that will apply to your life. Again, it's on iamasea.com, our ASEA YouTube page, and in the VO under the library, and at Basecamp. So again, you're probably going to stumble upon it, but if you're going to look for it, you will find it, and we want you to go watch it. You're going to walk away and gain so much from it. So I love it. Let's jump into it then. We're talking about these personality types. So what are they?
Okay, so I thought this would be kind of fun. Yesterday, Corey and I were on a call with Kara, and she taught us how to do polls on Zoom. So we are going to attempt to do a poll with you all in order to do this personality. So Corey, if you would launch the poll, basically what I want you guys to do is kind of help identify your own personality first. So you should be seeing a question in front of you. Which of these words is most important to you? Now don't think about it too much. Just off the bottom of, top of your head, do you care more about results, fun, team, or details? Which one of those words resonates with you the most? I want you to click it and then hit submit. And I'm going to give you like 5 more seconds because this should just be quick. And then Corey, I think you can see the poll results. I can't. So I'm just curious.
We have about half of the participants have voted, so I'll give them another 5 or 6
seconds. More time because it's a new thing. So the poll should be popping in front of you. I don't know what happens if you're on your cell phone. I don't know.
You're exactly correct. It's actually this new virtual world we're in. We have had a couple of calls already that we're just learning so much, like the interaction you can have virtually, like it's cool. There's a lot of fun things out there. So we're trying to apply some of that here. And it's interesting, at first, team and fun were shot up immediately. They were like 90%, and then it split to 50%. Results was 0% for like the first 20 people to answer, and then it has completely flipped. Now it's results is in the lead. So I'm going to go ahead and end this poll, and we'll get some results here. Let me share these results so you can see them. Do you see those, Danielle?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, I'm going to keep those up for a minute. So I think I can keep them up myself. Okay, perfect. What's really interesting, guys, is that, so the bottom line for one of the first personality types, what I speak about is the director. You may have heard about them as like they're the lion or the red personality type. The bottom line for them is results. And in network marketing, there tend to be a lot of directors. So in the general population, they're actually like 10% of the population. All right. So it's the smallest group of personality types, but it's interesting in network marketing, we skew towards more directors because they like to be their own boss. So hello, here we are. The other one that likes fun. All right, so that's 24% of us. It's about 30% of the general population is in this category. They're known as the dolphins. They're the blues. I call them the promoters. They're all about fun. Then the exact opposite of them, oh, well, before we get there, team. Okay, so team, we call these the caregivers. I use the whale to describe them. They want to save the world. They want to save the whales. They're actually the largest part of the population. They're 35% of the population. It's interesting that they are the smallest percentage of the people on the call right now. That's just kind of fun. And then the analyzers. So I use the sea urchin to describe them. They're kind of pokey, like the people that like the details. So the 24% of you that like the details. I found it kind of interesting. I think ASEA actually attracts those people, the people that like the details. They want to understand the science. They really get it. When they lock into ASEA, they are in because they have processed it all. They get it all. They didn't make a decision very quickly about ASEA, but once they got all the details in, they were able to decide. So if you're sitting out there and you're like, gosh, I just don't know which personality type I am, one way that you can kind of easily identify for yourself, as well as kind of maybe you could use this with your team, like people that you know, family, friends, there's 2 questions that you can ask. And so we're going to launch another poll to help you kind of self-identify, and we'll see how we did here. So the first question is, do you tend to get into action first? Or do you tend to think things through before you act? So I want you to answer that. Do you tend to think first or you tend to act first? If you tend to think about stuff and process, click that. If you tend to get into action first, then click that. So there's thinking and acting. If you tend to think more, you are likely in the analyzer, the detail personality, the greens. Or you're a caregiver, the team-oriented. Those 2 types of personalities tend to think more. The ones that get directly into action, those are our directors, promoters. They're the ones that like results, they like fun, they like to do, they want to just get out there. They tend towards action more. So think about how you answered that question. You're likely in one of those 2 categories. And then the next question you can ask yourself to really dial in which personality type you are is, do you tend towards people first and wanting to interact with people? Or are you more comfortable, would you rather kind of be behind the scenes, you like the numbers, you'd rather be like processing data than interacting with people? So Corey, I don't know if we're able to launch, if that poll is out there.
So I made it so you can participate in the poll. If you answer the first question, do you see that second question?
No.
Okay, let's end this first poll and then we'll just create the new poll real quick.
Cool. Corey and I are doing this on the fly with the poll. We thought it'd be fun to try. So thanks for being patient as we figure it out.
And while, excuse me, while I'm doing this, Danielle, and I know you're getting to this in this part of the poll, but I'm definitely the type of person that and maybe this makes me an analyzer, but I look at some of these, some of the descriptions of the different personality types, and in director, I see like, oh yeah, that's totally me. But then I see something in director where it's like, yeah, that's not me. And then I see something in caregiver and I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally me. So for those of us that have a hard time with identifying which personality type we are, help us understand, you know, how do you determine maybe one or the other?
That's a perfect question, Corey. So, and sometimes you kind of feel like a chameleon. It's like, well, when I'm with my family, I'm this way, but when I'm at work, I'm this way. And the typical way that I've been taught personality types, right? I mean, is that you have one that's mainly you. The part of you that is most comfortable, that's just kind of how you are, right? If you were to put clothes on, what kind of clothes would you wear, right? A caregiver is going to put on comfy clothes. A director is going to put on name brand stuff. They're going to look nice. A promoter is going to have a lot of bling, right? An analyzer is probably wearing something that's kind of outdated. So just think about your wardrobe, right? That might be a clue for you. That's just where your comfort is. That's just the type of person that you are. And not one of these personalities is better than the other, but it's just kind of where you hang out. And like for me, I'm kind of, I would say main caregiver. Team is like important to me. People, helping others, like that's a really big part of who I am. But I also have a lot of analyzer in me. I mean, some of you know the story of me finding a SIA. It took me like 6 months of analyzing everything and saying it was, you know, BS to get into this. And then I wanted to look at all the science. But it's interesting, as I've been part of the network marketing industry and as I've done all this self-development, I am becoming more of a director. I am becoming someone that is more interested in results and just getting things done and showing up in a very professional way and like just going. And so it's kind of interesting how life shapes us. And so you might find yourself in different personality zones. And maybe think about, you know, ultimately, I wanted to share this with the ASEA community because it's about a buying decision, right? It's about, you know, who we are trying to share ASEA with and educate them about it. So being able to identify the way that they're going to process information, the things that are important to them, is really key. And there's some nice identifiers. And in the presentation, I really go through in detail. Look, these are the personality types, so you get them, which we've kind of done here. And then in the presentation, the meat of the presentation is how do I identify these people just by what their clothes are like, what their house is like, the way that they interact in a group, those types of things. And then I go into, okay, now how do we talk ASEA to these people? And I think that is where the training gets really exciting. And what I really want people to be able to walk away with is how do we apply this now to our ASEA business?
Perfect. The poll's up and we're getting a lot of people that love to work with others to tend towards people.
Of
About
course.
3 to 1.
Again, not a surprise for this industry. And what we all do on a daily basis, which is network, talk to people, share with people, interact with people. It can make like an analyzer kind of uncomfortable to have to go out there and like, I would rather just process stuff. I'm thinking about our top income earners. So thinking about Trish Schwinkler and Bob Schwinkler. Trish is a total promoter, loves fun, doesn't care about the details, just wants to get out there and go. That's Trish. Bob, exact opposite. And it's interesting, a lot of time couples, you marry your opposite. And so Bob is the analyzer. He's behind the scenes. I mean, he's the one that's making our charge up call work. He's putting, you know, out the newsletters, like he's doing all the behind the scenes stuff. And so they make a great duo. Cindy and Beau Buck are another example of field leaders that are exact opposites. Cindy is the promoter. I mean, if you guys have ever been to convention, you have seen the theme party the last night. Cindy's outfits are crazy. And in the presentation I made, I put photos of Cindy from the different conventions. So you get an idea of what I'm saying. And then you've got Beau, who's more like reserved, behind the scenes, kind of looking at the details. So it's kind of interesting. You can think about your spouse, if you have one, and what personality type they are. And it's going to help you understand your spouse a lot better. Yeah, it's interesting to see these results. I had a feeling there's a lot of promoters and caregivers, people that tend towards people.
Perfect. So we had a little delay there, but help us bring it all back together now. So we just answered 2 different questions. Do you tend towards people or numbers? And then the first question, kind of summarize that for us and help us understand how what that means in terms of personality types.
Yes. All right. So if you were someone that tended towards action and you also like people, that was your answer. You're likely a promoter. You're the dolphin. You're a lot of fun. You're a blue personality. Now, if you tended towards action and you are more behind the scenes, you like the numbers, you're likely a director, right? The reds, the lions, you like results. Now, if you weren't an action person, if you were a thinker, if you tend to think first, but you love people, you're a caregiver. You love the team. You're the whale. You're the yellows. If you tend to think first and you like the numbers, you're more analyzer. You like details. You're a green. The sea urchin is how I describe them. So that's just like a quick hit way to help identify yourself. 2 simple questions you can ask. Help identify the people that you work with. Look, do they tend to think first or act first? Are they more people-oriented, more number-oriented? It can kind of help you decipher really quickly about that. And Corey, can I share kind of a challenge to everybody?
Yes. Before we get into that challenge, you shared a couple field leaders and their personality types. I know you did some investigating and you found a couple of our corporate leaders. Let's hear some personality types that you discovered from our corporate executive team.
For sure. So Tyler Norton, our founder, he is a director. He is that 10% of the population, that lion leader, like born leader. We all know it. Definitely Tyler. What's interesting is our CEO, Chuck Funky, is more a yellow, a caregiver, more team-oriented, wanting to make sure everybody's okay and everything is okay. And you probably feel that from Chuck when he speaks. Not that you don't feel that thing from Tyler. We're talking about the underlying personality types. And then thinking about our production facility, right? Our COO, our Chief Operations Officer, Scott Aldred, he has to be on top of, look, how are the warehouses all across the world? Like, what is production like? What's going on? He needs the details. Scott is a total analyzer. So kind of a fun way to think about some of our corporate team, and again, how you can interact with them and what they are, what's most important to them and in their heart.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, let's get into the challenge. I did want to bring to everyone's attention that not only have you created an awesome presentation and recorded that for us that is timeless, we can have and we can refer to that as often as we'd like, you created a cheat sheet and it's extremely powerful and there's a lot of really cool data and resources. And we're going to post that as well. That's also in the V library. And I believe you're going to post that. So I just wanted to set that up because people need to know this document is really cool. It's really powerful. It helps you identify the 4 personality types. And then what is so powerful about it is you also created tools and resources for each personality type. So if you've identified somebody that's this caregiver, you have some resources and some tips and tricks that you can use to interact with them. And so first of all, just thank you for creating that. It's so cool. Second of all, we're going to post that and everyone's going to have access to that. And then we want to use that as part of this challenge that you're going to give out. So just wanted to set the table there for that.
Yeah, I am so excited, guys. Personality types, when you can really latch onto this, it's going to make your business so much easier. You're going to be able to understand people better. You're going to be able to talk to people easier. And so when I was making this training, I went, man, people are going to need to walk away with something. And so I made this PDF. It helped me kind of summarize it in my mind. Like, what are the take-home points? Like, how do I now go apply this? Because, knowledge isn't power. It's applied knowledge that is power. And so I wanted to give you all something that you could go out and apply. And my challenge, it was in the presentation to go, profile 10 people. I know we're all stuck at home right now. So you can, on a TV show, your favorite TV show or favorite movie, you can kind of identify like, ooh, that's a total analyzer. Ooh, that's a total promoter. You can just start seeing these personality types pop up in different people in different professions. And what I thought would be really fun, because we are all at home now and we're doing much more online, was to do a kind of game within our ASEA family. So the recording that I made is 23 minutes. All right. So I'm going to say break. We're going to go watch that recording. I want to make sure you guys actually really understand the personality types. And here's what I'm going to do. In ASEA United, I'm going to post the PDF. So it summarizes everything. I'm also going to post everything Corey's saying about where you can find the recording. And this is the game we're going to do. I want you to, in a comment, let us know your personality type. You can do your color, right? Pick the color heart that you are, red heart, blue heart, whatever. If there's an emoji, if you're a dolphin and you want to put the dolphin in there, if you want to call yourself a promoter or caregiver, whatever way, right? You'll see in my presentation. I talk about them in all the different ways. So let us know which personality type you are, and then I want you to start applying it. So I want you to pick a team member, and I want you to tag them in the post, and I want you to say, hey, Lynn Matthews, I think you're a caregiver. Am I right? And then that person now is going to know that this training is out there. They can go watch the training, and then they can tag someone and say, hey, I think so-and-so, I think you're this. Am I right? I think it would be really fun because it's going to help you with your teams in a huge way. And it's going to be really fun to get people interacting with this because, again, you have to apply this stuff. The personality types have to be applied in order for them to actually be beneficial to you. And I think this would be a really fun way since we're not at, Envision. We can't just walk around talking to people and ask. We can do it online. So that is what I wanted to throw out there to everybody. So I will see you all in the See You United. We'll get this game going today. And Corey named like 100 places you can find this training. So it will be there. You will get it. And please enjoy and share it.
Awesome, Danielle. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. You're awesome. Thank you for this content. There are a lot of challenges going on right now. So this is an extremely exciting hashtag ASEA personality challenge. So go watch Danielle's video, identify your personality type, and then tag somebody and challenge them to do the same. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Again, thank you so much, Danielle. Appreciate it. Until next time, thanks everybody.
Bye guys. See you on United.